In this video, we're going to look at 10 different fights from the most recent solo cash cup and rate them as either good or bad so we can learn what to do and what not to do in our fights. So let's go. In the first fight, we have Batman Booga, who starts off the fight with a quick damage tag before pressuring his opponent's builds on top of him. From here, Batman Booga chops out his opponent twice, then he mantles up and takes a quick trade shot before stopping to heal and quickly taking height back from the fight. From here, his opponent tries to break out Batman Booga in the same way he did earlier, but he already knows how to counter this strategy by just placing more walls of metal. The player then starts spraying on Batman Booga's wall, which was the mistake that got him killed because the player sprayed Batman Booga's wall in an incredibly predictable fashion, which gave Batman Booga the chance to hit a huge timing shot before he quickly finished off this kill. This was a good fight because Batman Booga did a great job of consistently applying safe pressure to his opponent, and when the opponent applied unsafe pressure onto Batman Booga, he was able to capitalize on this mistake very quickly. Staying with West players for the second fight, Reet pushes a player who is sitting in a 2x1. He starts this fight off by spraying his opponent's wall and sliding a cone into his box. This forces the player into the other box, which Reet starts to pressure from a right shoulder peek. Reet then switches his angles to a different wall, and the player he's pushing instantly makes space again, so Reet is able to swing on his enemy's wall again from a right shoulder peek. Reet gets the wall, places a cone, and then the back wall before swinging left to get out of the way of a potential counter shot. Reet then takes a shot from this right shoulder peek and resets the wall. Because this reset made Reet's wall weak, his opponent was able to take it back from him, but this doesn't stop Reet, who shoots the wall with a shotgun and then pickaxes it, which allows him to get the wall back. Reet then goes for a peanut butter edit, but isn't able to hit the shot, so he resets and holds his wall so he can keep it. Reet now knows that his opponent doesn't have a shotgun shot because he just shot his, so he opens up a wide edit and tries to finish off his opponent, but misses again. So Reet quickly jumps up, places a floor to block a potential shot, and then he edits down once he sees his opponent pull out his SMG. This was a good fight because Reet consistently took right shoulder peeks and applied strong, consistent pressure to his opponents. Moving on to the third fight, Trashy starts off this fight by sneaking up onto his opponent and hitting a large shotgun shot, but his opponent is able to quickly use chug splashes to heal up. Trashy starts to apply pressure onto his opponent's wall before making a crucial mistake. Trashy doesn't place a cone in either of the boxes that he's fighting from. This allows his opponent to pressure his wall and get a stare onto Trashy, removing any opportunity he has to escape the box. This forces Trashy to take a 50-50, which he loses. This was a bad fight because Trashy should have given himself more options to escape when pressuring his opponent. Crossing the pond over into EU, Vino starts off this next fight by getting a small damage tag onto his opponent. He then jumps onto the left side of where he thinks his enemy is, and then he drops below his opponent, applying pressure with his pickaxe, trying to get his opponent to drop down so he can hit a huge timing shot. Vino doesn't get this timing shot though, so he places two walls to protect himself. Vino then edits a peanut butter edit off this left wall, which normally is a bad play because if the opponent is in the back of their box, this peek is in their favor, but this is a good play because Vino correctly reads that the enemy was pushing towards him, meaning that he would have the advantage on this peek. From here, Vino just sprays his mythic pistol and gets a bullet through the wall, picking up the elimination. This was a good fight because Vino played his angles extremely well and applied great pressure. Vino's a good fighter, but what about the mistakes that players make when fighting him? Well, Monev gets pressured by Vino and gets hit hard at the start of this fight. Monev is able to get a good counter shot off, which gives him half a second of space. During this time though, he just stares at Vino instead of making space to heal himself with his floppers and chug splashes. This leaves Monev very vulnerable, so when Vino takes his wall, Monev has no options and gets quickly picked up. This was a bad fight because Monev could have easily made extra space to take his heals, but he didn't, which resulted in his death. Continuing with players who got killed by pros. CCC mode is pressuring Polarized and starts to spray his wall, but gets hit through a timing shot because he made his spray pattern too predictable. He gets the wall though and makes a peanut butter edit to start spraying Polarized from as he tries to escape the box from the top. CCC ends up dropping Polarized down, but because he edited a peanut butter edit, Polarized was able to run in his face and eliminate CCC. If CCC had just edited a window to spray from, he could have easily dropped Polarized and then peeked from a safe angle instead of allowing a 50-50. This is a bad fight because CCC took an angle which allowed himself to get 50-50. Most of these fights that we've looked at so far have started off with the winning player having a health advantage, but what if he started off hurt? Well, T-Chips gets hit hard to start this fight, and he starts to make a ton of space for himself to take heals. His opponent then jumps into his box, and this gives T-Chips the opportunity to take over the fight by swinging right around the wall and allowing him to hit a huge shot that ends up with him winning the fight. This is a good fight because when T-Chips got hit hard, he made space to try and heal, and when he had a good opportunity, he went for a strong counter shot. Moving on to our 8th fight, Slove starts off this fight by dropping onto his opponent's wall, where he gets hit, but he is able to get a small counter shot by using his opponent's wall to give himself a right shoulder peek. From here, Slove applies pressure to his opponent's floor, which allows him to get a big shot off. Because of this pressure, Slove's opponent tries to escape, and when he runs onto a new tile, Slove places a cone which traps his opponent. From here, Slove takes the wall back and waits until his opponent shoots his shotgun shot to open up the cone and finish off the fight. This is a good fight because Slove applied good pressure, but waited until his opponent was defenseless in order to finish him off. Going back to T-Chips, let's look at what it's like to fight a player of this caliber, and to do so, we're going to look at Issa, who starts this fight off by hitting a huge pump shot onto T-Chips. He then starts to apply extremely aggressive pressure. Issa is constantly swinging his pickaxe on all of T-Chips' floors and walls, but once T-Chips gets a second to stop and settle himself, Issa's aggression turns on him, as when he double pickaxe swings on T-Chips' wall, it has become very very predictable at this point, and he gets one pumped on a timing shot on his wall. This is a bad fight because Issa is way too predictable in how he applied pressure to T-Chips. Moving back over to NA, we see Fatch start off a fight by getting a couple shots off with his pistol. He then uses his ODM gear to apply pressure onto his opponent. Fatch then pressures his opponent's wall with his pistol and places a cone through the wall and gets the wall himself. Fatch then edits a peanut butter edit and swings to the top of the box before editing the cone and finishing off the fight, because by doing this, Fatch makes it impossible for his opponent to see his head, and Fatch's HP advantage means that he can take this 50-50 and win it almost every time. This is a good fight because Fatch got an HP advantage and kept up the pressure while still keeping himself very safe. This is Fortnite fights, good versus bad. If you enjoyed this video, then I can guarantee that you will also like the video on screen. Peace.